Here at News Nation, when I say the OAO, I mean the one and only, and that can only mean correspondent-at-large Geraldo Rivera. So, Mr. Rivera, what do you make of the happenings at South Carolina?
Well, I find the great mystery of my life, Chris, is that Donald Trump has managed to convince a majority of the Republican Party and a very substantial majority of the Republican Party that the big lie is true, that he was somehow cheated out of the 2020 victory. It is amazing to me when I think back to Senator Tim Scott and Senator Lindsey Graham on the night of January 6th, 2021, as the Capitol was smoldering from the riots, condemning Donald Trump in no uncertain terms, and here they are kissing his behind. I think that it's pretty clear that Tim Scott is going to be his vice presidential pick, it seems to me. He's gone so far so effusively. Nikki Haley, come to cherish her. I would vote for her if I could, if given the chance. She's fierce, she's sincere, she's a class act. I like the fact that her husband is serving in a very dangerous war zone in Africa. But in all things considered, I thought that she had to do 40% tonight to stay credible in this long shot candidacy. She's slightly under that. Does she have any chance really of sustaining, of winning? I doubt it. Makes it interesting, gives us something to talk about. But I like her a lot. She's definitely presidential timber. I covered the Emmanuel Church Massacre 2015 in Charleston. She held that state, she held the country together, the way she handled that massacre of 9 black parishioners. She's a great lady. I don't think she's going to beat Donald Trump, and I don't think Donald Trump's going to beat Joe Biden, Chris.
You say he's convinced half the party, but, even though she's not at 40, she's close. And the idea that he's running as an incumbent and therefore she should get out of the race because it's over, isn't she doing too well to get out of the race? Even though she can't win, but the idea that he's blowing her out. I mean, this is a party primary with a fringe, overweighted voting population, right? So these are his most ardent supporters, and he's still only winning 6 out of 10.
Ambassador Haley is playing with house money, Chris. I mean, she's got so much money in the bank, $11, $12, $13 million last I saw, plus the super PAC fellow you had on earlier, a similar amount. And you have that kind of checkbook. The tendency is you want to spend the money, so you stick around, and a miracle may happen. I mean, somebody could drop dead. He keeps talking about how old everybody is. I guess that could happen. He could go to jail. I guess that could happen, although I'm opposed to these awful partisan lawsuits against him and various prosecutions against him. I think you got to beat him fair and square. He is the most resilient political player in the history of the country. You just can't keep him down. Whatever is thrown at him, and I think that the more trouble he's in, it seems to me, the more support he gets from the base. South Carolina, to me, a very good reflection of the country, with the evangelicals overwhelmingly supporting him. And then there's the traditional Republican voters and how they, like Scott, and like Lindsey Graham, how they rationalize his flaws away. At least he's better than a Democrat. What about the border? You had that awful murder of a co-ed in Georgia a couple days ago by an illegal immigrant. That's a flashpoint. People want that border closed. And so on and so forth. They don't care about the fact that Trump ordered the Republican Party not to press legislation that was agreed upon in a grand compromise. That doesn't matter. He keeps saying border, border, poisoning the blood of the country. All the aliens are from prisons and insane asylums. He's got the ear of a substantial hunk of the American people, and he's going to ride that all the way to November. Can he beat Joe Biden? I don't think so. But it's going to be very close, as it was last time. But I'm still baffled by the fact that he could trample on the Constitution of the United States. He could upset the whole orderly constitutional succession that's been the hallmark of American democracy since our founding. He can do all that, and still he could win the race. He could be the next president of the United States.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.